If you're working for a large, progressive general contractor, those firms are more adept and the people are more seasoned to go that route. There's 10,000 general contractors in our country.
The EBFC Show exists to serve people in the construction industry.
Like, forget about the bit of us that are involved in LCI, and forget about the majority that only do 50 million, like 50 million or more a year. There's so many other people focusing on, hey, let's do a simulation game with the team, and let's do all, hey, that's great. I'm looking for that superintendent that is working 80 hours a week in some market where there's no community of practice, where, this is just trying to figure out a better way to do it. And that's why we spend so much time talking about just even building the right culture. And that's why I was really laughing so hard at the podcast where, like, Jesse, you're like, you don't even know my name, fool. Like, for so many years, I would get so frustrated when I was in the field and, like, a fire sprinkler foreman and a ductwork foreman would come to me and be complaining about each other but looking at me. And I'm like, are you talking about Dan, who's standing right here, who you've known on this job for the last 6 months? But then over time it's like, well, no, you know what? He hasn't actually got to know Dan, because Dan doesn't talk in the meeting, because we only have one meeting a week. And in that meeting, we don't ask Dan to talk. We're hoping to, like, change the industry with the kind of conversations you guys had in the earlier podcasts around those early chapters, because that's just the stigma in our industry. That's the conditioning in our industry. That's got to fix. Otherwise, none of this other stuff's going to work. These tools won't work, just like Joe said.
You're right, Keyan. And Joe, you're right too. It's 2021, and I still go to construction projects every month. And in 2021, I've been to subcontractor, because that's what they call them, meetings. I call them trade partner meetings, and it's coming from those values and culture that we have. It's a little bit different. And I've watched how often are questions asked of the trade leaders and how often are they encouraged to speak. I think that for all the people listening that have this stigma with academia, the very same people that complain about they don't like school and they don't like it to be in school, you're creating a lecture environment on your job site when you don't ask for people's input. You have brilliant people working on your project. You've hired amazing, qualified companies and individuals. And when you don't ask and you think that you have to mastermind the whole thing, you're turning all those people off. And you will not be able to keep up with the complexity that is construction in this century. I'm super happy, and it's real. Like, as I read this, Jesse and I were getting triggered, like your friend Chris, Keyan, with PTSD. I mean, we were getting angry about things that had just happened like days ago when we were recording these sessions and I think it took us like half a year to record the book. So, and I totally agree with you, Joe. Like, it's got to be starting with the simple stuff. If you're out there and you're just like, Last Planner's too complicated, you're right. It's too complicated. And if you're out there and you think Last Planner is so simple and everybody should do it, you're right. But those two different people have different perspectives. And I love that in how this book, you can pick up and thumb into any chapter and just start with that thing right now.